What's going on, guys? My name is John Nieves. I'm here in Malaysia for Samsung, who is launching their new Galaxy A7 2018. Now, the company has announced that they'll be putting in new innovations in their mid-range phones first rather than their flagship devices. And the Galaxy A7 is the first product of Samsung's bold new strategy. Now, before we take a deep dive into the phone's cameras, we need to take a few minutes to talk about how gorgeous this phone looks. Now, the phone might be made from plastic, but the rear is made from glass. And it looks and feels phenomenal, which isn't surprising considering the phone's pedigree. It is a Samsung-built phone after all. The back of the phone features the triple camera module nestled on the upper left side with an LED flash right below it. There's no fingerprint scanner on the rear, as it's been repositioned on the right side, embedded inside the power button. Some people might not like this position, but honestly, it feels okay enough during use and it gives the phone a really good look without the fingerprint scanner on the front or on the rear, ruining the aesthetics. Annoyingly enough, Samsung didn't include a USB Type-C connector on the Galaxy A7 and instead opted for an ancient micro USB connector. Speaking of ancient, the Galaxy A7 also runs Android Oreo 8.0 in a time where Android Pie 9.0 is a thing and Android 8.1 is a standard for most new phones nowadays. Samsung's still sticking with their notch-free Infinity display with their phones, with the Galaxy A7 sporting a 6-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED panel with a 19:5:9 aspect ratio. The overall design looks pretty boss, and without a fingerprint scanner ruining the aesthetics of the front and the rear, the Galaxy A7 has a real cool monolithic vibe to it. Alright, time to talk about those cameras. The Galaxy A7 has three. A main 24-megapixel f1.7 aperture, AI-powered camera, a secondary 8-megapixel 100-degree ultra-wide-angle camera, and a 5-megapixel depth sensor. The new addition here is obviously the ultra-wide camera that allows you to take group photos and large sprawling landscapes with ease. The wide-angle camera unfortunately cannot be used with third-party apps like Instagram since they don't support it currently. Also, the wide-angle camera's focus is fixed, which is the bummer. Aside from that, the primary 24-megapixel shooter is able to take regular photos, and when combined with a 5-megapixel depth sensor, is able to apply software bokeh via live focus to your photos as well. There's also a 24-megapixel front-facing camera with soft LED flash in the front for selfies. Let's move on to the hardware. The Galaxy A7 is powered by Samsung's own 2.2 GHz Exynos 7885 octa-core processor, and depending on the configuration, can have up to 6 GB of RAM and up to 128 GB of internal storage. Samsung has told us that the Philippine version will only have 4 GB RAM and 64 GB of storage. Samsung's Exynos 7885 isn't as fast as, say, Qualcomm's Snapdragon 660 chipset, but it can hold its own, though it's clear that the Galaxy A7 is geared towards people who value photography more than people who game on the go. The phone has a rather average 3300 mAh battery, so you'll probably have to keep an eye on the device's battery meter as you're using it through the day. The Galaxy A7 2018 is priced at $17,990, which places it at the same price band as offerings from its Chinese rivals like Vivo and Oppo. Will Samsung's new triple-camera mid-range phone be the start of a new era for the company? In the Philippines at least? Well, time will tell.